Hi folks, so what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to do an orthographic question, and actually it is two questions, and like my previous videos we're going to do one on the left and one on the right. The one that we're going to do on the left is this one here, and then the one we're going to do on the right is this one here. Okay, we're going to be doing that. So we'll start with the one on the left there. So I'll just zoom in on that there now a little bit, okay, so we can get a kind of a clearer understanding of it. So what we have to draw is, we've got an object here, okay, a pictorial view of an object, and we have to draw an elevation looking in the direction of arrow A. Arrow A is pointing to the right, so our end elevation view will go on the right hand side of our XY line. Our end elevation is pointing in the left direction, so it's going to go on the left of the elevation, and then a plan from above is going to go underneath the elevation. Okay, our overall height is 80, length is 120, and our width is 70. Now this question and the next one is slightly different to other ones that we've previously done in the other videos, orthographic 1 and 2, in that in this one we actually have a sloped surface. Okay, that's the only difference in this one here. And essentially what we want to see is, when we're looking in the direction of arrow B, we're going to see that sloped surface, okay? But essentially, because it's a sloped surface, we're not really seeing it as a true shape because it's kind of tilted backwards, okay? So that's all the difference is. So what we're going to do is starting off by setting up the three boxes for our respective views to fit inside. So zoom out there again, and using the measurements that we have here. So I've got a length of 120, so my elevation is going to go on the right hand side, okay, because arrow A is pointing to the right. So I have a length of 120 and a height of 80. So I'm going to start it right here, just because I know it's tight enough on this page here. So length of 120, make sure I'm as accurate as possible, and then mark up heights. $80mm in height. With the elevation done there now, what I actually have to do, I say done, the box for the elevation, the elevation view to fit inside. I'm now going to draw my box in for my end elevation and my plan view projected from C above. We've done that previously, so I'll skip ahead there in the video and I'll speed it up. So there you have it folks, our elevation is going to fit in here. What I did was I kept a distance of 10mm here, and then I measured my width down, which was a distance of 70, and then my width was transferred over here along with the height. So I've got my three boxes there. Okay, so in the direction of our elevation, this is the one we're going to start with. I'm going to draw in what I see, which is essentially this face here. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit of hidden detail in behind this face because we've kind of got this little cut section coming out of it here, this kind of rectangular block here that's coming out of it. So I'll start off by putting in my respective heights. So the height of this section here, I can't see it at the front, but you can see here at the back it's 15 and 15, so it's stepping up a height of 30 altogether. And then this distance here, okay, is a distance of 70, and the distance at the top is a distance of 20. So I'll start putting in those. So at the very top, it's a distance of 20. I'm going to mark that 70 and mark it along the bottom, doesn't matter. And then I've also got a height of 30. Okay, so I'll put those in. So we've got a line going across like this. Where that 70 is, okay, the distance from here to here was 70. I'm going to mark that up in line with this. So there is that 70. And that connects, and now what's important here is that connects up at an angle to the top point there. So from this point right here, connect that up in an angle, inclined line. There we have it. There is our structure. Okay, so start typing that in. Any horizontal lines, and then our inclined line. Now, I've done this in a previous video. We're going to do the hidden detail now. So what's important to note is this step here, you can see this little section here, it starts up this height, and that height there is a height of 15mm. So I'm going to mark up that 15mm on the outside because it starts right in the end, and it's going to go in as far as the 70 as well. Okay, so it's going to go in as far as this section here. So from there, I'll do a line across and a line up, and what we essentially have is this edge in here, okay, is this guy, and the edge running along here is this guy. Likewise, there's also an edge running inside here, and an edge going down like that, and an edge going out here to the front. Okay, so we basically want to show those, and that's hidden detail. Okay, so if it's behind the surface, it's in hidden detail. So I have an edge going there like this, and finally an edge going across. There's my hidden detail put in. Okay, nice and easy. Now what we have to do is we're going to move on to the end elevation. Okay, so in the end elevation we can kind of see this structure here. Okay, and we can see this surface here, and this surface as well, I should say. Okay, so need to put all that in. So have I got the heights of 15 and 15 already? Yes, I do. I'll just transfer those across. Okay, so they're after going across there. And now what I'm going to do is put in my widths. I've got 20, 30 and 20. So I'll put those in, reading from the left to the right. 20 plus 30 is 50, leaves 20 left over. And straight away, get those in. And I know they only go up to here because it's just up to the 30 height. And straight away I'm going to get in that kind of like C section there. Or I should say U section in this case. I'm going to just heavy in this one, and this one. Then I'll put in my horizontal lines. Now, there is that kind of U section there, which is here. Okay. Now, what's also there is we've got this kind of surface. Okay, this inclined surface here. Now, when we're looking straight at it in the direction of arrow B, we're going to see that as obviously like a square or a rectangle or whatever the measurements are. And that surface there, okay, as we see it, is this surface here. Okay. So what's important to note is, even though it's already drawn for us, it's just been able to identify it. So I can heavy that in. Even though it's a slope surface, I'm still seeing it, okay, as this face here. Now we're also missing one line, okay. We also have this kind of face inside in here like that, okay. And there's an edge right there, because at that point there, that is when the surface starts to slope. So I also need to put in that little bit right there, okay. And that is actually our end elevation completed. So now what we want to do is we want to complete our plan view. So straight away I'm going to transfer any widths I have from my end elevation down to hit my 45 degree line. Where they hit my 45 degree line, I'm going to project them across. So widths transferred from my end elevation to my plan. Now I've got a distance of 20, 30 and 20. If I have my widths there, I'm also going to project down my lengths. So from here at the top, then I've got one more right here. Okay, so looking down on top of it, okay, what's important to note is this rectangular surface here is seen in my elevation as this edge. Okay, therefore it has to be between this point and this point as I come down. Therefore my rectangular surface, which is this distance here, it's the whole width of it. If I was to follow that down, that's one end of it, and if I follow the other one down, that's the other. So I can heavy in that. So there's that rectangular section at the top of it. Now what we want to get is, we want to get this slope surface. I've got this point and I've got this point. It's about finding this one and this one. And they are right here in this view. So if I follow them down, that means it has to be here and here. So I can actually heavy in that slope surface. And even though it's a slope surface, I'm seeing it as a rectangle in my plan view. And there it is. Now looking down on top of it, I see this surface here, this surface which is actually sitting a level below it, and this surface here. They'll all appear as they're side by side in my plan view, but we know that the middle one is actually a step down. So just heavy that in, heavy this in, heavy this one, and finally the last one. Now at the very start, when you get good at this, you'll actually realise which ones you can heavy in the whole way along, okay, at the very start. Now heavy all this in, because as I heavy all that in, the reason I did is because it goes across, then it goes down, but them two share the same point right here in our plan view. Goes across, okay, then it goes up, so this one and this one is both in this point, and then across again. Okay, so there's our plan view completed. Okay, so elevation done, end elevation done, plan done. What you could do at this point now is you could apply a bit of colour. Okay, this one here was already in colour on the sheet, so I'm just going to leave it for this case. But that is all our 3 views done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the right hand side and we're going to complete the next question. Okay, the only difference with that one was obviously sloping surface. We can see the slope. Okay, here in this view it's an edge view, which basically means we see it as a line. In this view we see it as a rectangle, and in this one we kind of see it as a skinny rectangle. So that's what we're going to do in this one now, where we have another question, okay, and this time the slope is kind of on the roof portion. So, like the last question, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our boxes, okay, starting with the elevation. Elevation is pointing to the left in this case, okay. That means we're going to have a box on the left hand side of our XY line that is 100 long and 70 high. So I'll put that in first and I'll complete the rest of the views as well. So I'll speed up the video. So there we have it, folks. There is our elevation box completed, our end elevation and our plan view. Once again, I kept the distance between my pictures or my boxes of about 1 centimeter, and I projected down a 45 degree line to transfer my width, which in this case was 60. Okay, so 60 here is 60 now in my plan view, and I kept the same length obviously. So what we're going to do now is we're going to input the information for view A, which is the elevation. So I'm going to put in all of my lengths, reading from left to right, going 20, 60, 20. So reading from left to right, I'll put in all my information. 20 plus 60 will be 80, which leaves 20 left over. Okay, I'm now going to put in that's my lengths along the bottom. Actually, I just recognised at the very top I also have a length of going across 50 and 50. So at the top of it, just mark right into the middle, halfway, there's right there is 50. Okay, just zoom in there a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. So you can see here 20, 60 and 20, and then 50 at the top. Now I'm going to put in my heights of 20, 30 and 20. So 20 for this section, then this section here steps up 30. Okay, so put those in. 20, and then add on another 30. Okay, so there's my heights. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to project this guy up just about as far as there. Same with this guy. This guy across. Same with this one. Okay, so as we can see it, this little square here at the front is now here. We got the rectangle in here. We know it's a distance back, but we're seeing them as they're side by side in this view. And then we've got the other square. And then from here, which is in this position right here, it travels back, okay, so that point there is still here, it's still in the same place, and then it goes up a distance of 30. At this point right here, which is here on this side and here on this side, they connect up to the top. So I've got 2 inclined lines right there that I need to now connect up to the top. There and there. Okay. Elevation completed. So now, as always, what we're going to do is heavy in our information. So I'm going to get all my vertical lines done in one go. Okay. One horizontal line going across. Okay, where you can see now the square, the rectangle and the square. And then finally my 2 inclined lines, which will give me the roof section. Okay, so there is our elevation view completed. Now what we're going to do is we are going to move on to our end elevation. Okay, so straight away I'm going to transfer my heights that are already in my elevation across, here and here. This one I'm just going to bring a certain bit of a distance, not going to bring it the full way, because I'm recognizing that I don't need to bring that height the full way across. Okay, this section here, this line, which we see it as a point, viewing this in our elevation, it only comes across a certain distance. So I've already transferred my heights across. Okay, our end elevation is also concerned with our widths. So our widths in this case are 20, 20 and 20. So you can see the section here, this distance here is 20, then from here out to here is 20, and the gap is 20. So I'll put in all of those 20s now. Mark them along the top. You could also mark them along the bottom. So 20 and 20. So I'll transfer the first one down. just to there. Then I'm going to bring this one down here, just like that. I lined it up with the top one, but I know I just need it down here. So to get in that L-like structure, I'm actually completed now. I'm going to get this L-like structure done first. Okay. So there's that bit, this section. There we have it. There is the L-like structure which we have here. Okay, and now what we actually have is we've got another little box here, and as I'm looking from my end view or end elevation, what I actually see is that surface there, this slope surface kind of like on the roof, okay, which we see here in this view, in the elevation. It's like I'm looking in this direction. So what I'm actually going to see is a rectangle, okay, but it's like it's basically been squished, okay. We know the surface is actually this long, but we're only seeing it here, okay, in the end elevation. Alright, so we'll heavy that in also. Maybe this, and finally, last little bit there. Okay, so the other little bit of information we have to put in here is, as we're looking in the direction of our end elevation, there's an edge inside here, okay, even though we can't see it because this face in front of it, it goes in as hidden detail. There's also an edge in there like that that's connecting up there. So this line here, we need to put it in as hidden detail. So dash line, just like that, nice and easy. Okay, so what we're going to do now, moving on to the last view, okay, which is going to go down here, our plan view. We've already got some lengths, so I'll transfer my lengths down. Recognizing where you need them. I know I need them all the way down here, so I'll bring them all the way down. And then any widths that I had in this view, transfer them down as well. Where they go down, project them across. Okay, so what I'm going to get in first of all is this kind of U section or C section, okay, which is in this portion right here. So it's just getting that heavied in, like this bit, here, here, and here. Okay, now put in my horizontal lines. And just this little bit here. So there's that kind of, I suppose, U section there, okay, or the C section. And what we've got now is we have to put in what we see when we look down top of it, the roof section, okay, so these sloping surfaces. Now I did forget to bring down one point, okay, those sloping surfaces are going to be in here, in this section, okay, because if you look, here's the roof section, as I follow it down, looking down top of it, okay, it's between this point and this point, this line and this line, so if I follow it down, it has to be in between this section in here. So I just need the middle point there to get a line, and if I follow that down from the top, it's down as far as there, and straight away heavy that in. Heavy this in, and finally this guy as well. So as I look down on top of that surface there, what I'm seeing is this surface right here, and this surface, I'm seeing them here and here. Because when I look down on top of it, that's where they are. This surface and this surface are here and here. Okay, so that's question 2 done, guys. As you can see there, I'll just zoom out so we can get the both of them in the same page. Question 1 done on the left hand side, okay, where we had this structure, okay, and then we had our hidden detail. And then question 2 was done on this side, okay, once again where we had hidden detail, only in this view was in our end elevation. The only difference with those questions in essence was the fact that we had some sloping surfaces, okay. Hope you found it helpful, guys. That's those 2 questions complete.